Welcome to the Health Hobby Podcast, the place for busy moms searching for simple solutions to weight loss, more energy, better nutrition, fitness, and healthy living time management. I'm your host, Amanda Ford. Stick with me and make health your hobby as I guide you through simple steps and skill-building exercises so you can finally hit those dreamy health and weight loss goals. Take it from me, it's time to kick all those fad diets and quick fix workouts to the curb. It's all about slowing down and finding your very own rhythm of healthy living, because when you find your health, you find your joy. Let's dive in. Well, hello, it's Amanda Ford. Welcome to the Health Hobby. I'm coming to you from Denver, Colorado today, and I am traveling for work. I thought this would be a great opportunity to share tips and tricks and strategies on how you can prepare and maintain your healthy eating routine and your fitness routine while traveling for work. So I'm literally sitting in my hotel room in downtown Denver, Colorado. I'm right next to the convention center. It's pretty interesting here. I have never been to Denver, Colorado before. I'm a Northern California girl, so just taking in all the sights and sounds of the city. My room has a beautiful view of the mountain range, and the city is so beautiful. At night, I'm up pretty high in my hotel, so I have a pretty incredible view of the city, and it's been fun. I'm busy doing work sessions at a conference all week, but I'm doing my best to maintain my healthy eating and my fitness routine. And a little inside information, I don't get to travel alone hardly ever, and the only time I do, well, in the recent years, I've had to travel for family emergencies back east and for work quite a bit. So it's been interesting to be alone, away from the kids, away from the regular responsibilities, because you find that you have all this extra time. So I do like to travel for work because I have this time to really work on me and my fitness goals. I'm doing my podcast. I'm doing all these personal things that make me feel good that I try to squeeze into my usual life at home. So I do get excited for traveling alone in that sense, but I hate being away from my kids and my husband and my house and my dog. If I could, I would just stay at home all the time, except I do like to travel, so that's kind of hard to balance. But I do want to say, if you're a busy working mom and you travel for work, it can be difficult to be away from the family. It's hard. I just got off the phone with the kids and my husband. I'm like, what are you guys having for dinner? Like, just really trying to still be present for them, and it can be hard in that sense. But I want to recommend that you can feel those feelings and feel them. They're true. It's just part of being a mom and being away. It's just so unnatural. Use this time for you. Even with my busy work schedule, I'm working all week here. I'm not hanging out at Denver, going to Red Rock, going to Denver Nugget basketball games, going to football games, going on hikes. I'm not doing anything like that. I wish I was. I am working. So there's still a huge schedule that I have to maintain, and I have to show up on time to conference sessions, and I have lunch meetings and breakfast meetings and dinner meetings. I'm still doing my work for the hospital. It's a busy, busy week, but it's a great time for me to kind of say, okay, I don't have all these usual at-home responsibilities, so I'm going to really focus on making sure I get to the gym every morning and being really vigilant about what I'm eating, because I don't really have anything in my room. I have to choose everything that I eat every single time I want to eat something. So it's kind of a fun way to, if you want to do a little reset or just get a jump start on a new routine. It seems kind of like, why would you do that during a work conference? But it's because you have the extra time and you're focusing on yourself. There's nobody else but you. And those are rare moments for a busy working mom. So it's kind of a perspective that I like to take when I'm traveling for work. And in the past couple of years, I've traveled a lot for family emergencies back east. I've had to go back 3 times, and those weren't fun reasons to travel, but I was alone and I had extra time just for me. And this last year, I've traveled twice for work. So it's been a fun opportunity to just have time for myself again, which is rare when you have 2 kids and a husband and a golden retriever and a cat and a house to take care of and a full-time job, which are all the best things on the planet. But for our purposes here, we're going to be talking about how you can maintain your weight loss and fitness routine and healthy living routine while you're traveling for work. I'm going to share what I do to get ready for traveling. And I also use many of these tips for when I travel just for recreation with my family too. So don't feel like, oh, I don't travel for work, I can't use any of these tips. That's absolutely not the case. You can use these tips for any vacation or any travel opportunity that comes up in your life. So let's get started. Oh, and real quick, can you do me a favor and share this podcast with your BFF? That would be so special, and I would be so grateful if you could share. Maybe you know someone that's a working mom that could use this podcast. Don't forget to send it to that person in particular. I know there's people out there that still haven't discovered the Health Hobby podcast, and I just want to get into the ears of anybody and anyone that wants it and needs to hear this information, because I hope to change so many lives with this podcast, and I thank you for listening. Okay, so how do you get ready to maintain your weight loss and fitness routine and healthy eating while traveling for work? So the very first thing that I do, you guys, and I love doing this part, is I scope out the hotel gym. And the reason I do this is for a couple of reasons. I want to see what equipment they have. So depending on what my current workout routine is, I want to see, hey, will I be able to just keep that routine going? For example, I'm staying at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Denver at the Colorado Convention Center. And they have a full gym. It is stacked with every machine, a massive bank of cardio equipment, Pelotons, stair machines, at least 15 treadmills, sitting recumbent bikes. They have a squat rack. They have every cable machine you can think of. They have rollers. They have yoga mats. They have a leg press. They have a pool. They have two banks of dumbbells. I mean, this is a fully stacked gym. It's incredible. And I have to shout out the Hyatt, because usually the Hyatt Regencies, the Grand Hyatts, the Hyatts that I've stayed in Mexico, they have legit insane gyms. I love them. So I'm just giving the Hyatt a plug. You guys have great gyms. And so in this case, I'm like, yeah, I can absolutely maintain my current workout. I'm doing strength training a couple days a week, and I'm still running. I don't think I've talked too much about it yet. That I run races, and so I do run training for a lot of my workouts throughout the week. So obviously they have a treadmill, and they have all the free weights and strength training equipment that I could ever need or want, or that I even use currently at home. So that's a win for me in this circumstance. But when I traveled last year, I went to a different hotel. I can't remember what hotel it was, but I was back in West Virginia. They had a gym, but it was really small, and all they had was 2 treadmills and some medicine balls and one just exercise mat to do like floor exercises. That's totally fine, but the point of me telling you this is that I had to be like, okay, I'm not really going to do my strength training too much. When I'm back in West Virginia, I'm going to just focus on my running. Maybe I'll use the medicine ball to do some squats or some, I don't know. I don't use medicine balls that much, but it will prompt you to kind of get creative. You're like, okay, maybe I'll look up some medicine ball upper body or lower body work, so I can learn how to use a medicine ball, so I can maintain my strength training routine just in a little different way while I'm in this new place for a few days. Or you can come up with some other idea. And if they don't have a gym at all, you can, of course, get on YouTube and find a free workout to do in your room. I mean, there should be no excuses, you guys. You have a lot of opportunities here to get a workout in with a gym, with a full gym, with a tiny gym, with no gym. In fact, one of my favorite things to do as someone that's traveling as a tourist in a new town is I'm doing air quotes here, is to tour the town while I'm working out, while I'm doing my runs. And it is so fun to map out runs and to explore neighborhoods in this way while you're getting your workout. I did this extensively in Boston, and man, I ran that entire city. I even would take Ubers away from my Airbnb over into other areas that were quite far away so I could run in different neighborhoods. I took an Uber over to Cambridge and I ran the Harvard campus and I ran the river, and they were doing row training. I mean, it was so fun and so beautiful. I ran to Fenway Park and back. That was a route that I took from my Airbnb. I was pretty close to Fenway Park. I ran in so many different neighborhoods. And one of the times in Boston, I turned a corner and I ran into the Cheers bar. So I might be dating myself, but there used to be, whoever's listening to this, you might know there was a very popular TV show called Cheers, and it was based on a bar in Boston, and I ran right into it, and it was just so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, the beautiful park that's in the middle of Boston is just so lovely. I know I'm plugging Boston right now, but it was so fun to tour the city and get in a workout at the same time just by running. And of course, if you're not a runner, if you're interested in running, I will have podcasts on running coming up. Stick around. But you can also do walking workouts, right? So you'll have really no excuse to say no to a workout when you are traveling. And of course, if you have the kiddos and the husbands, a way to do that is to, if you're in a place of nature that has a lot of nature, you can plan your recreational activities to be hikes and outdoor adventures that require you to hike or walk long distances and move your body. Or, of course, you can plan your workouts like I'm suggesting around your family's vacation itinerary. And I know my husband likes to go on runs when we're on vacation. I like to go on runs. I mean, when we were in Maui, we would take turns running. He would go and then I would go. And it's just so nice to tour and just to be on vacation. You're kind of in this relaxed space too, especially when you're on family vacation. You kind of feel more open and more available just mentally and energetically to work out, because I know a lot of times we can feel bogged down at home and we just don't get our workouts in. So don't underestimate the power of getting a workout in while you're traveling for work or on vacation. So you want to scope out the gym at the hotel and see what they got to offer. You want to see if you can find some cool running or walking routes from your hotel to get you to some cool landmarks. And like right now in Denver, I can run to their Civic Center. It's beautiful architecture there. I can also run to Coors Field or to the Denver Nuggets Stadium. That's the NBA team. Just some fun, cool places that you can say, yeah, I've been there. There's a really beautiful art district just down the street from my hotel that's about a mile away. I could go check that out. So be open. I love finding like rivers to run against or run on. Get creative and use the town to your advantage to get your workout in. One other thing that I like to recommend is if you're going to be somewhere for a long time and you don't have a gym. For example, when I was in Boston, I was in an Airbnb. It didn't have any workout equipment in it. Some Airbnbs do, but I was staying in this little apartment and I found a gym that I could pay to use daily. And they also did like short, I'm doing air quotes again, membership. So I could pay like $40 and use the gym for the week. And it was a full regular sized gym. And that was really nice too, because I could just go in and out just like I was a member there, like I lived there. So don't be afraid, or get curious and look around and call the gyms if you're going to be somewhere for an extended amount of time, so you can actually use an athletic health club to your advantage if you need a space to work out if you're in an Airbnb, for example. Okay, let's talk about what I pack for food. This definitely changes depending on if I'm getting on a plane or if I'm driving, how long I'm staying, right? There's so many factors when we're traveling. I'm just gonna talk about what I brought to my trip to Denver. I had 2 travel days and I had 3 days physically in Denver all day. And on those days, I'm in work conferences most of the day. So for my plane flights, which from California to Denver, it's a very short flight. I actually had to change planes, but it's not like a crazy travel experience. We're not too far away as far as the distance between my hometown and Denver, Colorado. It's a pretty easy travel experience on the plane. But for planes, you got to be careful about how much liquids you bring and things like that. So I try to bring dry ingredient types of foods. So raw organic cashews, a must. Always bring nuts with you. I encourage organic and raw. I also brought some organic beef jerky. And I also we had this little packets that we got at Costco is organic trail mix. So it was dried cranberries, cashews, walnuts, pumpkin seeds. They were just these individual packets. They're kind of different flavors in each one. I threw those in my backpack and I had those for the plane. Again, it was short. I didn't even really tap into it. And then I've had them throughout the week as I've been here during conferences, because you're in an hour-long conference, you get 15 minutes, you get into another conference and you only have 30 minutes to transition to another room, and you're sitting. And so it's really nice to have snacks in your bag if you're traveling for work, because you really don't have the same access to your usual restaurants or your work fridge. If you have one, you're not packing your lunch, right? You're not at home. It's really important to bring some sort of snack with you. And I like to just bring it from the house. But if you want to kind of run to Target or a local grocery store when you get to your location, that's always a great idea. Putting some plain Greek yogurt into your hotel fridge, some fresh fruit and vegetables that you have, like baby carrots, maybe some little hummus packets, healthy foods that you can grab for snacks, so you're not literally grabbing junk food. And it's really easy to grab junk food, especially at work conferences, because you don't know the type of refreshments and snacks they're going to be offering. I have to say, like, they serve breakfast every day at this current conference I'm at, and it's probably delicious, but it's only muffins, scones, bagels, and donuts. And I don't usually eat that type of stuff for breakfast. I don't feel good when I eat that type of stuff for breakfast. I really want to have some protein, some fresh fruit. So I just don't give in to like, oh, that's all I'm going to have. Take it into your own hands and go to the market and get some fresh, yummy, healthy food to keep in your hotel room. If you have a breakfast meeting, I've had lunch meetings, dinner meetings. I've had some cocktail hour meetings with vendors. It's not about skipping, and saying, oh, I'm not going to eat that food. I'm not going to eat that catering. That's a different story. You can use your gut and how you're feeling to navigate the food that's offered in those circumstances. Typically, the last couple meetings I was in, we were at a restaurant, so I had a pretty big menu to select and make a healthy choice. For on your person, make sure you have some healthy snacks, nuts, jerky. I also brought mandarin orange, those little cuties. The mandarin oranges I brought from my house. They were easy to pop in my backpack, and I put them in my work bag for when I'm at my conference. So that is the food situation that I packed. And then if I didn't do that, and I'm really somewhere for longer periods of time, like I mentioned, I go to the grocery store and do like a little shop. So I have plenty of food, some of it more fresh than like my jerky and dried ingredients like the nuts and stuff in the fridge, ready to go at all times. And make sure that you bring a water bottle, especially for these work conferences. You're sitting for hours at a time. You're in these huge banquet halls, these big ballrooms. There's water in there typically, but it's, the little tiny cooler cups that you use to get water. I just bring my 64-ounce water bottle with me, and I fill that baby up, and I'm drinking it all day. You really can get dehydrated at these things very quickly because, again, you don't have your usual resources available to you. You're literally sitting in meetings and air conditioning all day, especially here in Denver. It's dry. We're at a mile above sea level. We need a lot more water. And it's just good to stay hydrated too, so your brain doesn't start to fog out and like space out, because these meetings can be long and exhausting. So it's good to stay hydrated. The other thing I bring is vitamins. So I might bring a multivitamin in pill form. I'm working on this pack of powdered vitamins and immune support that I got for our family vacation earlier this summer, and we had a bunch left over. So I brought one for each day. All know that traveling is hard on the immune system. We're changing environments. environments. We're getting on airplanes with shared air. We are in hotels where there's a lot of new people, new germs that we're experiencing. We might be in closed meeting areas with people from, at this conference, there's people from all over the nation here. So we're all coming together unintentionally, probably sharing our germs. And it's really important to keep on with your multivitamin, your supplement routine if you can bring them with you, and also make sure that you're boosting your immune system with some sort of immune support. And you can do that through citrus, vitamin C, and of course just whole foods. That's the best way to boost your immune system. But I do like to supplement with an extra boost of, like an emergency. That's essentially what we have, except I got these at Whole Foods, so there's some other brand, but it also has a full spectrum of multivitamin and B complex and some other really great stuff in it. So I also brought that. So make sure you bring in something to keep you healthy and your immune system boosted. Another note on nutrition, I did mention going to breakfast meetings, cocktail hour meetings, dinner meetings, lunch meetings. I have a pretty packed itinerary. I have a pretty packed meeting schedule with vendors, teammates all around Denver. It's been such a blast so far. Well, one of the things that you can do, just like scoping the hotel gym, like how is this going to fit into my routine? How am I going to use this gym? Or knowing that they don't have a gym to ensure that I maintain my weight loss and fitness journey. You can scope the menus out at the restaurants or locations where you're going to be having the meetings. So thankfully, I had all these meetings on my calendar at least a week ago, and I was able to say, okay, I know where I'm going for dinner on this night. I know where I'm eating lunch this day. And I looked at the menus, and I really had a hard look at the menu, and I made decisions well in advance about what I was going to eat. And I didn't really have any qualms about it when I got there. I knew what I was going to eat. I knew there was something that would fit into what I felt was healthy for me and that would help me maintain. I made decisions like if I was going to have cocktails or not, or if I was going to eat desserts or not. And not to be a stickler and, I don't know, a Debbie Downer, like when you're trying to have like a nice team dinner and everyone's kind of having a glass of wine and dessert and you're really being treated. It's more for my personal and for your personal goals. And you want to feel good when you're at these meetings and when you're traveling. You don't want to be feeling heavy and bogged down that you overate, and then you're in these environments. It's not your house. You can't really relax. So I like to make sure that I'm really eating as clean as possible, even eating out at restaurants when I'm traveling for work, and of course with the family. With the family, I do indulge a little bit more, but especially during these work trips, because I want to be extra sharp. I want to be able to participate. I don't want to feel foggy. I don't want to really feel uncomfortable if I can help it. So scoping out the menus where you're going to have your work meetings, you're going to have your conferences, if they're available to you, is a huge help to helping you maintain your fitness and weight loss journey while traveling for work. Okay, let's talk about alcohol consumption for a bit. So professional conferences are filled with cocktail parties. There's always a cocktail party every night. The conference holds a party. The vendors have outside events to go to. You have team dinners, you have team lunches. Everyone's getting alcohol. A lot of times there's like a big reception and everyone's getting drinks. There's open bars. They advertise there's open bars. It's like always the biggest thing that they advertise. Like, come to the party, open bar. It's literally the selling point for people to come to these networking opportunities, is what they essentially are. And they're an opportunity to have a little bit of fun. And I am not against drinking. I come from the wine country. I like to have several glasses of champagne if my body can handle it, and honestly it really can't anymore. And I don't really like the way it makes me feel. But what I like to say is, one, don't act a fool at your work conferences. Keep it together. That's the first bit of advice. But the second reason is, don't skip out on these cocktail parties, these networking opportunities. They're really great places to create relationships and connections with people that can help you advance your career, that can help you in your current work. But look, put your big girl pants on and keep the alcohol to a minimum or an absolute zero. I've been getting mocktails this week. I've had a couple glasses of wine here and there, but the mocktails are fun. More and more restaurants and bars and lounges are actually presenting guests with mocktail menus with their regular cocktail menu. So they're really taking the stigma away, and you can get these fun, delicious drinks. Yes, they're full of sugar, but they taste good. You feel like you're having a cocktail and you're not getting that hangover from the alcohol, the extra calories from the alcohol, the reduced inhibitions from the alcohol. It's just a better choice, and it keeps you refreshed and clear for your work events as the week goes on. It'll also help you not have to detox the next day. Obviously, if you overdrink, you may have a hangover, which is an absolute nightmare. I hate hangovers. They are the worst. And at my current age, hangovers can last for 2 to 3 days. Even for me, it's after just a couple drinks. I can feel it for a couple days. I get swollen. You have to know your own body, of course. And for me, it is not worth it. I also want to keep my energy up. Alcohol is depressant. So if you have a busy, packed conference schedule, you guys, my conferences go from 8 to 5 for 3 days straight. It is a lot. And then I have travel days on each side. It's a lot, and it's tiring. It's like a full day of work. There's high energy. It's new environment. Your brain's really going. You're intaking a lot of information. You're processing a lot of new information. So it's exhausting. You want to make sure you maintain that energy and the ability to have extra energy, so you can experience the town. Maybe you want to go out and see the town after your sessions are over for the day. You don't want to feel icky and lethargic through your entire conference, and that can happen when you are indulging in heavy alcohol at every single cocktail party that's offered. And no offense to anyone that likes to go to those parties. I go to the parties. I just choose to either just have a couple glasses of wine, one glass of wine or water or a mocktail. I just try to keep it light, or maybe I indulge and I have a Diet Coke or something, so I kind of feel like included, like I'm having a drink. But it's really kind of up to you. You know your personal body, but I do recommend reduction of alcohol to maintain a clear, present state while you're on work, and also to keep your immune system happy and healthy and robust. Make sure you're getting good sleep. Alcohol disturbs your sleep. You don't want to have crappy sleep when you're having to work at work conferences all day and having to network and meet new people. You want to be bright and bubbly and full of energy. Okay, let's talk about sitting all day in conferences, and also sitting all day when you're having to sit on a plane or sit in an airport waiting for your transportation, like a bus or a cab or your next flight to take off. So most of the time, especially when you're on the plane, you're sitting. The 2 flights that I took, there was terrible turbulence. And they said we're really recommending to keep the seatbelt sign on. So we're asking that no one really get up unless they absolutely have to or use the restroom. So I was a good passenger and I didn't get up. But I've been on flights, of course, where people are walking up and down the aisle. They're going back into the galley, and they might be just kind of standing there and just moving their body a little bit because they've been stuck in on the airplane seat for many hours. But another reason, bringing it back to the work conferences, is that, again, you're sitting in extremely uncomfortable chairs. They're usually terrible for ergonomics. They hurt your back, and you're sitting there for hours. You're squeezed in between like hundreds of people. And what I would like to recommend for you is to make sure, first of all, that if you're working out in the morning, which is what I do, I get up early and I work out before we have our morning breakfast. I make sure that I get a lot of stretching in, usually more than I usually stretch, because I'm sitting for so long in these conferences, and I know it's going to be several days of this, of sitting. I'm also lugging my work bag around with me, my laptop, books. You usually have some swag that you're collecting. So you have a lot of stuff. It's awkward. You might be in kind of like an awkward position depending on what kind of chairs or how many people are around you in the conference room or in the ballroom. So your body can really take a huge toll. You're looking up at screens sometimes and presenters, so your neck is tweaked in a funny way depending on where you're sitting in the room. Your body can take a huge toll from being in these positions for so long that extra stretching it in the morning is crucial. And if you can take a break at your lunch and get back to the hotel gym or get into your hotel room, do another stretch session, a good 10-15 minutes. Take it slow, move your body around, and even go for a walk outside, walk the conference facility. I mean, the Colorado Convention Center is so massive that you could definitely do several laps and it would easily be a couple miles, and you could just walk inside no problem, like at whatever pace, but you just wouldn't be sitting, right? So get creative and don't forget to move your body. And here, I'm giving you permission right now. Don't be afraid to stand up in the middle of your session that you're sitting in and walk around, go to the back. Maybe you stand against the door, do some side bends, do some stretching, do some twisting, and get your body loosened up. Don't be afraid. No one's policing you. If you need to take care of your body, you need to take care of your body. And I highly recommend that you do that. You will be so thankful that you've gotten up, moved around. It also keeps your energy levels up. These conferences, they're so interesting. I had a heavy day today. There was so many good sessions and I was just soaking it all up. And I'm very tired from that. And I know that because we did a lot of walking today back and forth too. And I knew that because I did all that extra walking and that extra stretch session this morning, that my body was really thankful for the extra movement, because all the other times around that I was stuck in a chair. And even my very first session this morning, it was so packed. It was a really popular topic that the speakers were speaking to, that almost like 100 people had to sit on the floor. So I was sitting on the floor in this really awkward position. I know. I was like, this is not civilized. This is like medical staff professionals. Like, what is this, like a cheerleading competition? I don't know. Like, why are we sitting on the floor? If you've been to a cheerleading competition, that will make sense to you. If you haven't, it won't make sense to you. You sit on the floor and watch. In a lot of competitions, the teams are on the floor sitting and watching the other teams, and it's really uncomfortable. But anyway, I was in this really weird, awkward position, but I had done a lot of stretching and I was able to kind of overcome and feel better throughout the day, because I was moving a lot more in between my sessions. And even during my sessions, I got up one time and kind of walked around, and they had the door open so I could still hear the speaker, and I was just outside of the door just kind of doing whatever. So I wasn't distracting other people and I was still getting to hear the content from the speaker. It was really, really great. So to recap, to help you maintain your weight loss and fitness routine while traveling for work, you want to do the following things. You want to scope out the hotel gym. What do they got for you? Is there a gym nearby? If there's not one there, should you plan on doing walking or running workouts because there is no gym? And is there a gym that you can be a member at for a few days while you're in town? If you're going to be there for maybe about a week, can you join a gym for a week? See what deals they have so you can maintain your fitness schedule. And don't be afraid to get online, Google, walking routes, and I'm just saying cities, New York City, walking routes in Boston, walking routes in Denver, Colorado, walking routes in San Francisco. Fill in the city, right? Maybe it's an international location. It's really fun. There's a lot of great options out there. Walking, running. Is there a close nature for you to get on, like a hiking trail? Get creative and figure out how you're going to maintain your fitness and plug it into your calendar. That's always a great thing, because, for example, I have heavy meeting schedules on top of my session schedules at my professional conference. We have vendor meetings, we have cocktail parties, I had a work meeting I had to do. So it's good to put it on your calendar so you can make sure you get it in. I always recommend doing it first thing in the morning. Get up a little bit early, get into the gym before it gets packed, especially if you are staying at a hotel where a conference is being hosted. The gym is packed by 6 a.m., 100% full, every machine. It's wild. I know some of you might cringe, but I get up at 5 and I make sure I'm in there so I can get my workout in and not be in all that mess while I'm trying to be efficient and get my workout done and get to work essentially on time at a work conference. Okay, food and immunity. Make sure you're bringing multivitamins, some sort of immunity booster. Maybe you grab some orange juice, raw nuts, beef jerky, stuff you can easily pack on the plane and also pack around with you during your work sessions while you're at your conference. If you're there for extended time, or if you have the access during your work conference, run to the grocery store, get some small little items, some fresh fruit, some yogurts, so you can grab that, some baby carrots, and put that in your hotel refrigerator so you can grab it in between maybe your lunch break at your session, or even pack a little bit of it as your mini lunch you can bring with you to the conference, so you have something healthy to snack on and you're not forced to eat the conference food because you never know what they're going to give you. Also, scope the menus out before you go if you have pre-planned team meetings or vendor meetings, so you can know what kind of restaurant you're getting into and make some decisions ahead of time so you're not wondering what you should eat right on the spot when you're there and trying to enjoy your time with your business partners and your team. Think about how you're going to take in alcohol and how alcohol affects your body before you dive into all the cocktail parties that are a professional work conference. Alcohol is fun, partying is fun, but you are working, and I do want to remind you that we want to keep your immunity up. You're traveling, you're in a new place, a new environment, and you are susceptible to new germs that can make you sick. A lot of people come home sick after traveling, right? And it's no surprise that you're just exposed to new things. And we want to make sure that we can do anything in our power to keep us from getting sick. So your fitness, you're already handling that. Eating healthy, you're already handling that. You brought your vitamins. Alcohol consumption, if it's reduced or completely zero, can also help keep your body working properly, your metabolism nice and high and efficient so you can stay healthy. It also keeps your energy up. And don't be afraid to move around during your conference sessions and move more during the day while you're in your meetings and in between your conference sessions. So that's outside of your regular workout. You want to keep stretching and moving around because you're going to be sitting all day in these really uncomfortable chairs and your body can really get wrecked from that. So don't ignore your body. Keep moving all day when possible. Okay, guys, those are my tips and tricks on how you can maintain your weight loss and fitness routine while traveling for work. And again, you can use this for recreational travel and whatever type of travel you might be having. Maybe it's just a weekend getaway. But don't forget that your fitness and your weight loss journey is a lifestyle. And I know that's cliche and kind of cringy, but it's so true. And when we can maintain these rhythms and routines while we're traveling, that means we've really got a great grip on what we want, the goals that we have, how we really want to feel. That means it's important to us. And when we can maintain when we're away from our environment, it can really be a great jumpstart if you've been having trouble too. So use this time for you, you guys. You're alone. You have a whole plethora of time to just be with you and work on your personal goals. So really use this time for you. You're free of all your daily mom obligations and tiny duties that take away from your healthy living, or that can take away from your opportunities to participate in your fitness and a little bit better nutrition when you're at home. This time is for you. Take it in and get healthy while you're traveling for work. And if you have any questions, pop down into the show notes. You can click the questions link and send me your questions. If you have topic requests, do not hesitate. I want to hear them. It's the same link as the questions. Go ahead and down to the show notes, hit that link, send me your topic request, and I'd love to see what things that you are wanting me to talk about so you can make health your hobby and find your dreamiest weight loss and fitness goals to date. You absolutely deserve that. And don't forget to share this episode with your favorite mom buddy, and also any moms or any women that travel for work. See you on the next episode, and thanks for listening to The Health Hobby.